Happy Friday. It's day 22 of Reinventing Your Career. I'm so glad that you could be here to continue the conversation about making a career change before the end of the year. Before I get too deep into today's topic, I do want to remind everyone that on the very last day of the 30-day series, so on August 30th, which is a Saturday at noon, I'm doing a private question and answer session, and it's completely free. You just have to register using the link in the comments. The reason I decided to do the last session privately instead of these public sessions that I've been doing is because I'm getting a lot of people who are sending me direct messages with their questions, or that are not as comfortable to publicly on a live session write down their comments, their questions in the comments. So I am having the last session as a private Zoom call. I'll answer all your questions that are more personal related to career changes. So check out the link in the comments and you can register for that. Today, we're talking about the fact that it's not too late when it comes to making a career change. I was talking to a professional just yesterday, and we had this exact conversation. She was telling me ageism is real. And I'm like, yes, I completely understand. But does that mean that you're not even going to give it a try because you've already told yourself that ageism is real? You don't want to put yourself in this place where, because of things you've heard or because of the way people may perceive you, then you're not actually going to take any action at all. Because, the beautiful thing about having years and years of experience is that you're not coming to a role fresh. You have so much knowledge, so much insight to provide. And so why overlook that and instead see it as a negative thing instead of seeing it as something positive? So what I told her is that it's not too late. You're really just stuck in someone else's timeline. And I see this so many times with professionals, especially who are mid-career, where they feel like they missed the boat. They didn't get promoted when they were 30, or they changed industries too many times. They stayed in a role for too long because of stability. They're comparing their progress to their peers, saying that, oh, I was working with a client who was telling me that everyone has gone ahead. She put a pause on her career, stayed in the same role for 8 years to be able to take care of her family. And since then, everyone has moved ahead. They're all in senior leadership and she feels stuck. But who made this timeline? Like, where does this timeline come from that at a certain age, you're supposed to be at a certain point in your career? It's like this internalized timeline that we have around corporate culture, around family expectations. By this age, you should do this. By that age, you should do that. But then why do you have to limit yourself because of a timeline that someone else has set? Ultimately, all that's going to end up making you feel is that you're going to feel like you're behind. You're going to feel that you're stuck. And then it stops you from actually taking a bold move, not because you're not qualified, but because you think it's too late. But really, again, you're not behind. You're just following someone else's clock. And now it's time to get a reset, because you can make a career pivot. Even if you're mid-career, even if you're later in your career, it's never too late to make a pivot. And this is typically the category of people that I work with, who are either millennials or Gen X. Those are typically the people that I work with, supporting them to make career changes. And so that's why I'm really passionate about this, because it's the conversations I have all the time with my clients. So first thing I want you to know about is that you need to redefine what it means to be on time. You have to realize that your career is not linear. Your career is a lifelong journey. As you evolve as a person, your career should also evolve. But as you're evolving, life is also happening. There's caregiving, immigration, health. Life is always lifing, right? There's always something that will come in the way, or that will impact your career. So instead of focusing on acceleration and this need to climb the corporate ladder and all those things, just focus on alignment. As long as you're aligned with the season that you're in your life, then you're winning. The other thing to keep in mind is leverage your experience as an asset. You have skills, you have wisdom, you have leadership capacity, and these are all things that you have acquired over the years. Even if you took a break in your career, even if you decided to maybe take one role in another industry and then you pivoted to the next industry, you are someone who is more adaptable. See it as that, which is a desirable skill that companies look for. So you don't need to be that person that followed the linear path of I was the intern, and then being the intern, I was the junior, whatever, and then I became mid-level. And you don't need to follow that path in order to actually succeed in your career. You also want to think about positioning the pivot strategically and really thinking about the story around your career and your career pivot. And we've been talking about this throughout the sessions of Reinventing Your Career, about the fact that you need a story that's aligned, leveraging your personal brand, leveraging your transferable skills, and also making sure you're telling a cohesive story and connecting the dots between your past and where you're looking to go. And then stop comparing yourself. Stop comparing yourself to someone else's journey. You don't know what that person is going through in their life. You don't know how they ended up where they are currently in their career. So there's no need for you to compare yourself and say, my peers are at this point or they've gone this far in their career. That's not going to help you in your own path. The best thing to do is to focus on where you're looking to go. And if you're going to pay attention to others, look to them for inspiration, but not to compare yourself. So let me know in the comments, are you someone who's looking to make a career change, maybe mid-level or later in your career? And where are you at? Like, how are things going? How is the pivot going? Let me know in the comments where you're at in terms of making your career change. So it's Friday, everyone, and I am about to head out somewhere. So this is it for today. If you have any questions, drop your questions in the chat and I will come back later on and answer the questions. But yeah, I'm about to head out. So